afternoon. My name is Allison Buiser. I go to Manna High School. This is my second year doing college first, and my title of my project is Soil Infiltration Rate and Vegetation Cover on Dry Prairies and Green Rooftops with Jesse and Kelly. Okay, a couple things about green rooftops is that it is basically a vegetative layer on buildings which would be beneficial for both the building and the air. Green rooftops would be beneficial in ways that it would keep the building cool, it would reduce air pollution, and also create stormwater management, and also reduces, also reduces the expense of draining systems. There are two types of green rooftops, which is extensive and intensive, and extensive is basically 2 to 4 inches deep and with hardy plants, and intensive is basically a little bit more deeper but with more wider range of plants. A couple of things about dry prairies is dry prairies have low water holding capacity, and also that it has mostly sunlight with around 3 feet tall, and also that the vegetation of dry prairies are native grasses and wild flowers. A couple of things about soil infiltration rate is that it is a process of which the water reaches the soil layers, and usually measure that to determine the soil texture and the soil structure. And also we usually do that in millimeters. A couple things about vegetation cover is it is the percentage of how much plant is covered in the soil, and from that we usually determine that in a cover class. A cover class would range from 0 to 9, in which 0 would be the lowest, 9 would be the highest, and usually we just cover that per percentage. And from my background information, I would hope to accomplish from my research is whether there's an inverse relationship between soil infiltration rate and vegetation cover. And from this, I would think that the soil infiltration rate will decrease with the increasing of vegetation cover because of more of the plant material on the bottom, such as roots. And these are my materials. And for a procedure, basically what I did for the soil infiltration rate is I took a wider can and basically firmly place it on the ground. Then I take a smaller can and place it inside the smaller can, the bigger can, and then I put a ruler in the smaller can and I put water in both of the cans in order to get an accurate result of how much water is being soaked in the soil. And then I would usually just time each interval for each centimeter. And for the vegetation cover for the green rooftops, since each would vary of the size, basically what we did was we take a half square meter frame and we basically record it 4 times of the different sites to get a good amount of vegetation cover. And here are my results. And as you can see, the site type with infiltration rate, it's good to see that for the green rooftops, the intensive and extensive are very, very similar. However, extensive a little bit more. And the other 3 are from prairies. And here, this line right here is a standard deviation of error, which would remove any biased values. And here is basically my overall project between average infiltration rate and vegetation cover. And here is basically a graphic form of that table. And you can see that in the best fit line, from an increase of infiltration rate and increase of cover class, there is a very, very slight increase. However, it's not really significant. But there is some sort of increase. And as you can see, the sites are very scattered, which means that it's not really there is not really a relationship between cover class and infiltration rate. And because the best fit line would be 0.0242, and a really good best fit line would be 0.9. Okay, from my research, I would say that there is not really a strong relationship from the infiltration rate and vegetation cover, so it doesn't really support my hypothesis. But the amount of vegetation and soil infiltration rate does have some sort of very, very slight connection between. And I just want to say a special thank you for Jesse and Kelly for really mentoring me and making me feel a part of their team and really interesting me about green rooftops and prairies. Ben and Murphy, thank you so much for helping me with this PowerPoint and instructing me in the class. Shelly, Ben, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. Thank you so much for giving me this wonderful opportunity. College First, you guys made this whole entire thing awesome this year, and sponsors and donors. Thank you.